Welcome to another episode of C Sharp Corner videos. In this video, we are going to look at top 10 must-have skills to become a great software developer. Not just a good software developer, but a great software developer. And who is a great software developer? It's the person who's writing software products, building software products that are just amazing, that are great. That are user friendly. People love them. So, what are those skills you need to become that software developer, that your product is loved? Let's get started. Before that, little introduction. My name is Mahesh Chand. I am the founder of C Sharp Corner. If you are new to C Sharp Corner or you have not heard of C Sharp Corner, it's one of the largest online communities for software and data developers. We have millions of visitors visit websites each month and they learn and share. Everything is free on the website. Besides C Sharp Corner, day to day I'm a CEO at Mindcracker Inc. It's a small software consulting firm based in Philadelphia, PA. I'm also a startup advisor, entrepreneur. I'm involved in several startups and I often speak at conferences and events. So let's get started. Let's look at what are those top 10 skills you need or you need to improve to become a great software developer. And first skill I want to start with is writing. If you want to be a great software developer, you need to make sure you are good in writing. It could be writing emails, it could be writing documentation, it could be writing requirements or design documents or even coding, even documenting your code. So first thing I would say is you start working on your writing skills. Communication is very important when building software, and I often find that bad requirements or not having detailed and clear requirements often end up being building a bad software. This is the most important part of a software, is that the person who is responsible for capturing the requirements has detailed and clear user needs, case studies, roles, and the functionality. Not only the requirements needs to be clear, as a software developer you need to make sure that you understand exactly what you are building. And this is the challenge I often find, especially when you are working in teams. They are remote. Working in the teams, they don't sit in the same room, and developers just look at the requirements and just start writing code. But before you do that, make sure you understand that not only what you are building, but also understand who you are building for and how those consumers or users are going to use that software. Number 8 skill is a full stacker. And listen, I've been working in software for almost 23 years now. I started as a programmer, C++ programmer. I end up building some UI, Windows Forms, WPF applications. Then went into whole enterprise architecture. Also involved in web and apps and all that. So when I talk to developers, and some of them, say, oh, I just do front end. I'm a front end developer. I'm a back end developer. I just do middleware. Well, that's great that you specialize in that one thing. That's perfect. But you still need to understand every part of the software you're building or you're involved in. You still need to know how the middleware works and what's happening in there, how the back end is stitched together. And maybe you may be the front end developer. That's fine. You may just doing a React or Angular screens. That's fine. You may just using JavaScript. That's fine. You may be just ASP.NET developer. It's okay. But you still need to know not only just how to consume a API or web API or a service, but also how it is being built, where the data is going, how it's coming. It's very important to understand that. And I know in some large projects it's not easy to learn entire project, but still you gotta know, and try to become a full stacker. And obviously this comes with experience. So if you are just starting your career, I don't expect you to be day one, but at least going forward. Number 7 is skill open-mindedness. You need to be open about the discussions, about the technologies, about the code you're writing. I often find developers. Other day I was talking to somebody that like, hey, I'm speaking at this .NET conference, and the guy comes to me like, oh, I don't do .NET anymore. I'm more like a middleware developer, or I do backend development. But that's what really makes great developer great, is that not only he or she works in one technology, but they also understand more than one technology, how they work, because that's the only way you can really make some decisions and compare and understand that is C sharp is better than Java, or Java is better than C sharp, or they both same thing. Doesn't matter what language you pick, but just closing your doors and saying I only do .NET, or I only do Java, or I only do this or that, basically you are limiting your potential. You are limiting your thinking like, okay, what else can be built and how better can it be built. So to me, a great software developer is the one who is always learning and open to new things. Okay, he not only writes code but also speaks and present their ideas, like, okay, how they should be doing, and share everything, right? And learn from others. It's very important to learn from others. It's never a bad thing to know about more things, and you can still be doing what you're doing. You can still be writing code in C sharp, that's fine, but you should also know what's out there. So just be open mind. Be a good tester. I know. I have been developer forever. I hate testing, okay? I know that. But over the years, I have also learned that if you are not a good tester, if you don't know how to test your software, if you don't know how to become a user, or how your users are going to use your software, you cannot produce a great software. This is very important. You need to act like user. If you don't know how your users are going to use the application, you need to learn that. Okay? You need to understand the user behavior. Eat your own dog food. Unless you do that, it will be hard for you to build a great software. So problem solving is one of the most important and critical portion of building software. And obviously Google, C Sharp Corner, and all these communities has, even GitHub has enabled us to search, find, and copy code and put in and test it and just get going. But sometimes you may not realize that the software code you just copied from somewhere may not be optimal. It may be written in older version of programming language that has more or better and faster features available now. So that's fine to copy code, that's fine to learn there, but we need to make sure you understand that. You need to make sure you are trying to solve a problem in an optimal way, not just solving the problem just to solve the problem. And I know that sometimes there's a pressure of delivery that, okay, we need to finish this by this Sunday. Well, great, I know, but it's okay for you to go tell your manager that no, this can't be done by Sunday, because if I do this by Sunday, this weekend, I may not have the optimal solution. I still need one day, I still need 2 more days. You gotta be there and sit down and explain that no, I cannot do this. It's okay to do that. Definitely follow best practices. This is important. I still see programmers writing code in C Sharp 3.0, 4.0, and they have never really learned what are the new features in C Sharp 8 or 9. 9 is, even though it's not released yet, but it's almost coming. But since C Sharp 1.0 to 8.0, the language has changed a lot. The syntaxes have changed a lot. So if you're not learning, then, or using those new features, that's actually bad for everybody. So you gotta make sure you keep up with the latest updates. You read documents and papers, white papers published by the company, or the thought leaders or the influencers. You watch videos, attend events and conferences. So that's what these conferences are very useful, is that when you go to a session and learn about new features, mostly speakers are talking about new features and they're showing demos and all that. A lot of companies also have these best practice in design guidelines. If you are in Microsoft space, you are a Microsoft developer, there's already white papers and best practice and design guidelines available from Microsoft team experts. Other thing you could do is watch and learn how the team who's building C# and .NET, they write code, because they are writing optimal code. They are writing the code that uses latest features. And back to my last point, you gotta become early adopter. Early adopter means you gotta involve and learn and keep up to date with what's going on with a specific technology. So if you are building code in C# and .NET, you need to make sure that what's update out there, what's going on, what's the new feature coming out, when C# 8 or 9 is going to be released, are you using the new version of the language. I know when you are working in companies, you may not allowed to use those, but you personally need to make sure you know them, you learn them even in your free time. So when time comes, you can tell your boss that, hey, we should not use older version, we should use new version because of these reasons. So that's what makes you a great software developer, is that you don't just keep driving the old car, you upgrade yourself, you upgrade your car and you get new features, And that also continues to being a continuous learner. The way you keep up with technology is that you are a continuous learner. It's not one and done. It's not like, oh, I know now how to write C# code and that's it. You got to make sure that you continue learning the new improvements. So how do you do that? Well, you go to websites frequently where there's latest updates coming. And for example, C# Corner, we update, we publish updates every day. There's literally articles being published every day. There's news comes out every day. And then you can also make a friend circle where you guys sit down and talk, and coffee or tea or events, whatever you do, all you're doing is talking about the new learning and sharing, how things are getting better, what are the new changes coming up. You can also go and join local meetups and user groups, and even try to speak at these conferences and events. And this is my number one point. If you want to become a great software developer, you need to pay attention to minor details, very minor details. One of the things that frustrates every client is that when they see this amazing application built, and they will find a minor spelling mistake, or they will find a button that just is cut off, or the color is different, and all those little things, they matter. Can you imagine you go buy a brand new shirt and it has a little spot on it, or it has a button broken in it, or it's missing a button? How would you like that shirt? It's the same way. Even though shirt is fine, there's nothing wrong with it. Same thing with the software. You may build this amazing software that took 6 months or 8 months or a year. You spend hours and hours, and you have a bunch of guys work on it. But when you launch it and client or user sees a minor little thing, that's all it matters. So you need to make sure you pay attention to minor details, understand the user behavior, and try to become a user when you test the software. So hopefully you learned something from this video. Thanks for watching. next time.